Hello everyone, welcome to a follow-up of my first Toxikk review video. Today we'll be covering some of the changes they made, that is Reactor Studios made in the latest, I believe, build V0.71, I believe what they're calling it. It's still Wasabi. Right now you're seeing some pre-patch gameplay, that way I can go over some of the differences and you can maybe see a little bit. It won't be drastically different graphically or anything like that. First and foremost, I'm still using this shitty X12 mic because I'm still not back home for my good headset or my good condenser mic setup, so excuse the audio. It should be better now. I had it boosted and it sounded wonky, but it should be better. But like I said, I'm going to go over some of the changes they made in the patches. Right now you're watching, I think this is just me on like a 10 kill streak or something like that. This is before the patch. Partially I'm showing you this so you can see the Cerberus rockets pre-patch, just how bad they were. They're not exactly perfect yet, but I'll show you just, you know, what progress they've made so far. Before we get into the patch stuff itself, I just wanted to say I'm still having a lot of fun with the game. I can say I'm starting to get tired of this damn one map, though, especially for team-based stuff. It's really kind of frustrating just how choke point and narrow it is at some places. I know that's the entire reason of it, but it definitely makes a better 2v. I actually played a 2v2 match just because a bunch of people dropped out, and it was pretty fun. And it does make a better free-for-all map. But I play free-for-all more than I do the team-based mode on here. But I've never liked free-for-all as much, because I'll get into a little bit of that later. But as you can see, this is the rockets, the Cerberus pre-patch, and it's pretty ridiculous. I'd even mentioned in the last video that I thought it was an annoyance. Apparently everyone on the forums agreed with me. They took it a little bit over the top, but that's how the internet works. If you think just slightly about anything, they're going to think that it's 40 times worse than that and make it a way bigger deal. But as you can see, I'm carrying 20 rounds. This thing fires. You just keep clicking your mouse as fast as you can. Every 0.8 seconds, I believe, is what it was originally. They nerfed it to 1 second. To me, it doesn't make a big enough difference, but we'll get into that. And really the only times I go on these huge kill streaks were when I was using these rockets, and because of it, I have not had nearly as many good games. I recorded about an hour and a half of footage today to make this video. I think 3 of the matches made it in that were not completely painful to watch, partially because I'm kind of used to this carrying me a little bit, and among other things that I'm not used to. I'm having to readjust myself. So here we go. I think I'll be showing you this is a definite versus bot match. This is to show some more rockets, how they were beforehand. As you can see, they're just ridiculous. But I'll start getting into what the patch does exactly. You can look on the Steam news if you have the game, or you can probably even just check out the website and it'll tell you immediately. But I'm playing against like experienced bots or something like that. I'm not great by any means, but if you're wondering why I'm not in first place. But as you'll see in a moment, they've made the Cerberus far less overpowered than it was. I'm not saying it's perfect yet. I don't know that the way that the weapon is, that it will ever be perfect. But it takes a shit ton more time to spawn, and that was the main grievance I had with it. There was just too many rockets on the map at play at the same time. The entire team could be running around with rockets, and that's a problem. Now I've not seen more than 2 at play at a time, and that's a rarity. I usually just see 1 at maximum. As you can see, it's ridiculous how much carnage you can raise with this thing before the patch came. So because of that, as you'll see later on, people are starting to use more weapons. The firefights are quite a bit more varied. Here's the first real match here that's in the patch. As you can see, there's a good sense of variation for you. But the Cerberus hasn't become the go-to anymore, at least not entirely. So it's got that going for it, which is nice. The second biggest thing I think they did is they removed the film grain filter. Apparently there was one. I never really noticed it terribly. But they also made the player models a lot more visible, which is, thank God. That was another huge complaint. And I didn't really have trouble with it too badly, but I definitely noticed as soon as people started talking about it on the forums I read, I was like, man, it is kind of hard. And there was some people were messing with the command console, and they were turning off a bunch of auxiliary effects, and it made it a lot easier to see enemies. And I was like, man, that needs to happen. And luckily they did make it to where the art style still fits very nicely, but it's a lot easier to see enemies. The only bad thing is red team does still kind of blend a little bit, given how many red lights are around here. But like I said, that's another map specific issue. And but it's still leagues better than it was before. They introduced a bunch of other buffs, including to the Violator and the Raven. I think on both of those they raised each shot from 20 to 25. I didn't feel it was terribly necessary. Necessary on the Violator. It was definitely nice on the Raven, in some sense of the word. At least they tried something with the Raven. I'll go that far. I can't say that it's good or bad, but they changed it. Everyone, from what I can see, was not exactly 100% pleased with the spawn weapon as of now. So at least they try to rebalance that. And I don't really remember anyone saying that the Violator needed a buff, because I mean, a lot of people just waste the ammo with the grenade shot ability anyway. So, but that's the main points they did. You can go read the patch notes to see every little thing. They did some bug fixing, yada yada. I am running into this weird glitch where I go to the game options, and the resolution, it just says 0. It doesn't say anything by anything. Like I think I run this at 2 times 1080p, which is like 1527 or something, whatever the dynamic super resolution is for NVIDIA cards, but it just says 0, and I can't change it. Like I said, I've had no problems in game, but if you guys have issues with that, then I guess you're shit out of luck until the next patch comes. So as you continue to watch some of my shitty gameplay, I'll start off with the negatives on this. This isn't necessarily patch specific, maybe. They did change a little bit about the Dragoneer, but I cannot figure out that damn flamethrower. It doesn't feel like it fits with the rest of the weapons. And I don't know if it's because it's hard to say. I feel like the flames aren't really what the damage. It's not like the flames itself isn't causing damage. It's where your reticle is. And like if you do the alternate fire, which does that, you know, you hold it and you let go and it leaves out a burst of flame, up until about where the Bullcraft shotgun would be, it's absolutely devastating. One hit kill almost all the time unless they have mega health, and that's great. But the actual flamethrower, you know, normal function, I've seen like one person get a kill with it, and I don't know that I've ever gotten a kill with it besides myself. And luckily they nerfed the self damage from like 1 to 0.5 or something. But it's absolutely useless. I hate that thing, except for the alt fire. A lot of people have been recommended that they transform it into like a goo sludge type weapon that was present in the Unreal Tournament games. I don't care either way. Honestly, I wouldn't be heartbroken if they just took this gun weapon out completely. As you can see right there, I just got pretty much a one-hit kill with it. But if you try to use the regular, I suck with it. Maybe I'll show up here. As you see, you know, there's a burst. I got some hits, but right there, that's probably the only time. I forgot about that one, but that's probably the only time I've ever gotten a straight up flame kill. And if they have anything beyond normal health, just kiss your chances goodbye. So overall, flamethrower is still inconsistent. It needs work or completely redesign, one or the other. I don't think anyone really knows what to think about it yet. I also have kind of a similar grievance with the Raven, and like I said, they did try to address it in the patch. It still just doesn't fit as a fawn. It doesn't fit as a spawn weapon to me yet. Like I said, I would rather people be running around with Violators at spawn, in addition to the Raven. And you know, obviously you'd have to moderate maybe the grenade spam or something like that. But as weak as the grenades are on that thing, I really don't think it'd be that big of a problem. It's the Raven is just so, you can hold down right mouse button or left mouse button for continuous fire, but it still at its core acts like a semi-auto, and it's just not fun to use. That's the biggest thing I have with it. I mean, I'm getting more kills now with it because they up the damage, but it's just not a cool gun. The alt fire kind of sucks in my opinion. If someone's like, you know, as you can see, I just took out a guy with Cerberus. His back was turned. It's not a terrible weapon now, but I don't like it. The burst fire is pretty useless against any moving targets. I feel like the cooldown's too slow. I think it needs reworking or turned into like a Magnum type weapon. I don't know. It's just I'm not crazy about the pistol, and I'd say a lot of people still feel that way. The last patch specific thing I'll say is they definitely did do a lot of work on the Cerberus. You can see, I mean, it's still very powerful in the right hands, and I think, you know, obviously I don't want it nerfed beyond all use. It is a rocket launcher after all. I want it to be, you know, useful, but it's still strange in some ways in that I don't feel like it works well in what you consider normal situations for rocket launchers. Really, I struggle with it up close a lot of the times. Obviously, fast-moving people, you know, you can dodge it, get out of the AoE, and it must have like a exponential drop-off or something. It's definitely not linear because you can hit them a foot in front of them and not do any damage, and then like 6 inches in front of them, insta-kill on, you know, 100. It's weird. I don't know what to think about it, but it doesn't seem it can decide whether it wants to be a direct impact or an area of effect weapon, and that definitely shows in, you know, the splash damage and fire rate. Just it needs more work. I think it's they're on the right track though. It's definitely miles better than it was when this game first launched. So it's definitely more playable, and like I said, a lot of this could just be this map. Like I said, this is the only map we've seen. I have a feeling, it's just my gut instinct, that by the time they put out the massive maps with 16 players and whatever the next, that one jungle map they've been showing off in some of the trailers, I would say I'd say I'll like this game even more, because the more I play this map, it's just the design, I just don't like it that much. It looks cool, so like I said, that's why I'm holding a lot of my judgments about weapons until we see new matches or new maps. So I'll get into some other things that aren't patch specific and some things I think they should touch on later on. I've already mentioned the maps. Already mentioned spawn weapons. Here recently, just because this update dropped, low ping servers are really hard to find. Like I said, I'm on the last video. I'm on the eastern side of the U.S., so that could be part of the problem. But it's all like they're either full or they just don't exist. I say, you know, as this game goes along, there will be more servers added, but so that's kind of been a problem today, at least. Maybe, you know, maybe it's just because, like I said, this patch has just been dropped and maybe the server's still updating or whatever. So be watchful of that. Another thing to add in this patch, I know I said this wouldn't be patch specific, but this is kind of overall game too. They turn off the feature for auto switching weapons, and that means that, like, as soon as you, like now, as soon as you, well, I completely missed that Cerberus, but there, like, if you automatically pick up a gun that is rated to be better than the one you have in your hand, it will automatically switch to that weapon. Most of the time, that's a godsend. Most of the time, you know, you'll be using a Raven and go over like a Stingray or something, like, oh, thank God, I've got this gun now. Sometimes it absolutely bites you in the ass. For instance, I was, I don't think it made it to the clips or anything, but I was shooting someone with like the Violator or something. Shot at them grenades or something. They were a couple rounds away from being finished off. Still had like another grenade in the chamber. Was about to get him, and then I hover over someone's drop Stingray. They had one round in the chamber. I pick it up. Of course, you go through the animation of picking up, which takes about a quarter to half of a second. I shoot off the round. I go another quarter to half of a second to switch back to the Violator, and I'm dead by that point. So the auto switching of the weapons can be absolutely terrible at some points. So I would like further refinement with that, or if we can choose when to do it, because like I said, for sometimes I love it, but other times it gets me killed, and that kind of blows. But really, that's the only changes that I can think of that should be addressed. They also added a gore. You can uncheck that, and I guess that'll make it to where if you hit them with the Cerberus, they won't blow up to a million pieces. I don't see the fun in that, and I don't see why anyone that isn't offended by shooting would be offended by gore, or why someone, you know, I don't get it. I don't really know why there needs to not be replaced, but maybe if you're trying to run this, like I said, on a toaster and you just absolutely can't handle that little amount of physics, then I guess you may need that, but for whatever reason, it's okay. But yeah, that's more or less it. I look forward to continue to see how they tweak the guns. If I had to capstone this, I would just say that the pistol still needs more work. I would hope they're going over maybe the possibility of changing up the spawn weapons. And like I said, this map in particular, I don't think brings out a lot of good things because, number one, there's only one Violator. I would think that needs to be a more popular weapon. There's two Stingray spawns, only one Bullcraft. I could see only one Bullcraft, but you would think that the Violator would be more popular since how it's a full auto assault rifle. I don't know. Maybe that's just my Halo preference coming out in me, but so I still think they need work on that. The Cerberus rockets are coming along nicely. They're a lot better than they were. They could still be a little overly devastating in some situations, but on the right map, I would say it'd be fine, and I think they just need to look more into that a little bit. Flamethrower, like I said, I can't figure the son of a bitch out, so hopefully they can do something with that. And like I said, it's easier to see people. So that's good, and that's really it. So at this point, this is still very early in the game. I recommend this build more than I do the initial release. The weapon balancing is more polished. I can say that I'm having more fun with being able to use different weapons, but like I said, it's far from finished. So pretty much the same thing I would say last time. If you're average Joe Smo just looking for an arena shooter, this isn't done yet, so keep an eye on it. But it's definitely an improvement from the last time. And like I said, this is a damn quick update. This was, you know, just a week later from such a small studio. And of course, they didn't have to. I don't think anything was too insane change-wise, but it was still a couple hundred megabytes. So I do applaud them for, you know, at least stepping it up that sense. So yeah, just keep a watch out. There will definitely be more Toxikk updates on this channel. I can't wait for the new map, and thanks for sitting through watching the few decent clips I had. So yeah, keep an eye out on Toxikk on the news. I look forward to putting many more hours into this, and if you enjoy the review, leave a comment, like, all that good stuff. And if you think I missed a point or something, that there's something you like or don't like about the latest patch or about the game in general, be sure to just leave a comment, and I'm sure I will be happy to respond. So thanks for watching, and yeah, give this game a chance if you're interested in that sort of thing. See ya.